Hello everybody, welcome to number 27. I'm Jack and this is the BisMerc, and today I'm going to do something I've been looking forward to doing for a long time. This cloth interior, although beloved by some, is for me not the best way to go with these. I know they have lots of advantages, so you know, they sort of keep cooler in summer, they're grippier so you don't sort of slip off them and stuff, but I just don't think it looks good, and as soon as you have leather it just lifts these, I think, to another level and just makes them much nicer. So I had originally got that cream interior, and cream is my favourite colour. It contrasts a bit more and I think it looks better, but as you can see, I didn't realise when I got that everything in this car is colour coded. And if you just get some seats and door cards but then don't change everything else, it will just look absolutely ridiculous. So in the end I sold that cream interior and then I found a grey leather interior, and I've got that. So today I am going to start stripping this out and then sort that out and get the new interior in. Also, there is this wheel is broken on that centre dash, and courtesy of the ever helpful Frau Benz, I have a new unit that I need to fit, but I don't know if I'm going to get time to do that today. The priority now is just to get these seats out and get the new stuff in. These bits of glass are also quite scratched. I don't know if you can see it there. At some point there was a sandstorm or something and they're covered in scratches. When I got the car there was glass in the boot. I didn't originally realise why. So I also have the glass, and I wanted to do that changeover at the same time as I do this, but again I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that. And here it is. So all piled up there, the various bits next to Fred, and then the Influenzo, which I'm supposed to be starting to work on literally every day, and something gets in the way every time, but it is a video on that one. It is coming very soon. So first thing to do is to remove the seats, and I can see there one bolt. Here it's covered in this plastic shroud, I don't know, but I'll move the seat back and I'm sure there'll be something under there and on the other side. And hopefully it won't be too tricky. Rear bolts are harder to get to. You have to slide the seat forward and then go in at a bit of an angle. So driver's seat is out, now it's passenger seat, and I can tell you these things are super heavy. Rear seat pads come out really easily, they literally just unclip and pull out. This has all come out, and it all started to come out really easily, and I was like, brilliant. Then I got to that rear panel and it won't come out without the seat rest moving back, and of course the seat rest is on a vacuum mechanism, and on this car, shockingly, it doesn't work. So you can't push it up until you get that out. On a normal car, of course, all you do is just push it and it will just pop out. But not on this. It just wouldn't move. I had a look at some tutorials, but I think there's a few different systems, so I couldn't work out how to do it. And finally, I'll show you the way to do it. So get into the boot upside down, and you can see where I did it here. There's two little levers. They're so over-engineered. Look at all these mechanisms just for the headrest. Anyway, there's two little plastic levers that I could see on the sides, tiny little things. And I was pushing them, but they don't click in place. So I had to get these bits of wood for that one and jam them in place. It's just a little, tiny little lever there, but it doesn't stay clicked like that. Now that they're in, hopefully I'll be able to get that out. Oh yes, there we go. Okay, now removing this section, two bolts there. I presume there's another two on the other side. I'll get to them once I've done that bit. So the seats and most of the stuff in the interior is actually out. I've discovered what that little side swipey thing for is supposed to go into the seat, but they didn't bother putting it in last time, so that's something, that's that thing there. I don't know what it does, but it is there. Anyway, most of the stuff is now out. It's just the sort of cards which have to be removed. So starting off with this one, they vary a bit depending on whether you have sort of electric mechanisms or not. This does, so you have to pry these little buttons off and then just get going on it. And while I'm at it, I'm going to paint this bottom bit of the exterior trim, which was only painted on the outside before because I didn't realise it was going to be visible. I don't know, is this supposed to have some sort of trim over it, or is it just painted body colour? Probably just painted body colour. I have had these off once, but I can't remember exactly how. I think there's a screw behind here. Yes, not a screw, there's a bolt behind there. So just the two back door cards to come out, but the belts will have to be removed for that. I've got these natty covers, and then bizarrely, the nut has that little plastic washer around it. Any reason why, anybody? I have no idea what that could possibly be for. So I thought I'd better show you on the other panel. Now I've already taken one off, it'll be, in theory, quicker. So first of all, there's a bottom bolt here, bottom screw. Plastic panel should come off. There we go. Then there are, normally there would be a screw there as well, but of course on this car there's only one. Just unhook that, then we have these sort of little side panels which I'm going to keep there. Then disconnect that little belt clip. And I've forgotten this has to come out as well. So this little chrome trim piece. W124s really are the queens of trim, as I discovered when I painted this car. There's never-ending amounts of bits of clips and things. Now it should really quite easily, once that is removed, just pop out. At least the other one did. This one probably won't now. Okay. I never knew because they never worked. It has the seatbelt butler things. I don't know if all the coupes had them, but this one certainly has it, and it doesn't work. I don't know, neither of them work, so I don't know if it's a fuse or what it could be. I'm not that bothered really, it doesn't bother me reaching back to get the belt, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. So the glass on the BisMerc is really quite scratched up, and I don't think I'm going to have time to replace the front ones at this stage, but while I'm here I'm going to do the back ones. And I've just seen literally these two guides are supposed to have these plastic guide pins in them, and this window didn't have it, which is why it wasn't actually even shutting properly. So I'm going to take the opportunity to just take this window out. I've got some replacements there. They came actually with the BisMerc. They were in the boot, and I could never work out why it had a whole set of spare glass. And the reason was it's all scratched. So I'm going to sort that out while I'm here. And I can see two holes for this, and then when it's at the right level, then I can remove the glass from that bracket. So you can, hopefully, I don't know if you can, but it's really scratched. So quite a few things that have slowed me down quite a lot, and let me just show you. So there's some little side trim panels that go along here. I'll show you when it's from a finished point of view, so you'll see. Anyway, on my car they were wrapped with that carbon stuff and they had chips in them and everything else, so I've had to fill them as best I could really and then respray them. You will notice that on one side there's a captive nut, and when I got the new one it was the same. On one side there was a captive nut and on the other, like this one, there was no nut, so I assumed that that was completely normal. But I was completely wrong. In actual fact, you can just see here, this bit of the bracket, which should be like this, has completely rotted away there, and it holds the captive nut, so that's just dropped off. I've looked everywhere in that pocket, I can't find it because I was going to try and stick it back on there. And this panel, weirdly, is exactly the same. So that back one is fine, so the new window, the back one is fine, but on this one, that whole thing just rotted away. So it's only one piece on both. It's really odd. Obviously it gets more water, but it is odd, only that bit on both. So what I've had to do is, essentially, I've got some metal putty, put a bolt in, and the thing is, it only actually needs to hold it until the bolt comes through and tightens and pulls it. Once that's in place, it will be fine, because just the fact that it's tightened up will hold it. So just little things like that really that have really slowed me down quite a bit, and it all just takes time while you work out what's going on. I've also now got the correct guide pieces in place here, so that the window should go, well, it won't have quite as much play as it had before, and it should go up in place. Next, the interior on this thing has never been cleaned, so you can see just how dirty it all is. Actually, underneath these mats, it's not too bad, and I may leave it like that without having the overmats, because I think the overmats smell a bit. So this last shampoo-y bit is mainly really to get rid of the smell, and I'm not going to do it all over, just on the bits that you can see, but I mean, it's not disgusting smell, but it is a bit like a Bulgarian taxi, the BisMerc. I'm hoping with the new interior and we're cleaning out these bits, it'll smell suitably nicer. Right, excuse the radio, but I can't move to switch it off, as you can see. So I decided to do both the rear windows, and I thought, oh, I'll do one of the front ones. It looks really simple. It's not really simple, but I'm sure this probably isn't the right way to take it out, but I couldn't find a guide for how to remove it for the coupe. So I'm having to, basically there's all these bits. I'll kind of show you when I mount it, but it's been a bit of a mess. So in true Mercedes fashion, massively over-engineered. Although I suppose because the coupe is pillarless on one side, it does make sense to have all these fixings. Anyway, you've got these 3 fixings, which you'd think would be enough. But on top of that, there are the slides which go on the side there, and you can't, so there's 2 of those, one on each side, and the glass won't come up through the top with those in place, but it's very hard to get them in here. And the rear, what holds the bolt in place at the back is this, which just drops out when you take it off. So it's going to be tricky to put it back on. I'm sure there's an easier, better way of doing this, but as I said, I haven't been able to find a guide. So I'm going to have to try and do it the same sort of way I did it, scraping knuckles and just getting it wrong. So these sliders, so it slides on rails, and then there's 3 attachment points there, another slider there. The problem with these sliders is that there's a panel on the back which that screws onto and pinches the glass, but that panel is loose, so it just falls out, and it's quite hard to get to. There's got to be a much simpler way of doing this. So this glass replacement was a real pain, and I'm glad I can't do the other one at the moment because that window doesn't go up and down, so I can't get to all the right bits. But also, having done it all and adjusted it and everything else, I've just realised that I didn't bother cleaning it before because I thought it was going to get dirty as I was sort of thumbing it. And now I've cleaned it, I can see that this one also, I don't know if you can see them, has scratches all the way down. Finally back to some reassembly. So this panel's back in, and one of the things that that's been a bit of a struggle is trying to restore these side panels here and get them on the ones I painted before. Also, where some of the leather is pulling out here, I've pulled it back as much as possible and glued it. On this side it's been quite successful, I'd say. On that side a bit less so, but it still looks a lot neater than it did before. So already, just from the door cards and stuff, you can see how much the new, well, I think anyway, you can see how much the leather interior lifts it. Now, being the genius that I am, I of course didn't take any pictures for before and after, but I can assure you that leather, to me, really lifts a car. There are some, including a good friend of mine, Paul, who absolutely hate leather interiors and love the old sort of fabric ones like the one I got rid of. So sorry, Paul. If you're taking it apart, be careful of those bottom screws because they're invisible. There's some little hooks at the top which it slides into. Oh, so much nicer. Lux. Seriously, this is so much better. I love it. I love leather. Hey everybody, it's the next day and I've already got the door cards on. One slight issue with this original moulding, because it had the electric panel, doesn't fit on there, so I'm gonna have to buy another one of these. On the other side is fine. Both panels need cleaning, so don't take any notice of that. I'm just gonna clean them when they're on there. But the other thing is, the wheel has fallen in, this is broken. So I've got a replacement there from Frau Benz. And I believe that the way to change it is there's one screw here, so that screw's accessible. For this part of the dash has to come out. And then there's normally a little Allen bolt in there, but I think it's broken on this one, so I don't think I'll have to take that out. To take this out normally, there's a special tool, two little prongs that go in and you sort of pull it out. But I think just using a little pry bar, I've been able to do it enough. However, I'm going to have to just put you down for a second while I try using my hands and see if I can actually get the rest of it out. So luckily it doesn't really matter if I force it against that vent, because that vent is toast. There we go. Yeah. So the other side handily, and in true BisMerc fashion, doesn't look like it's even got a screw in it. So that could be good. Ah, there's the mechanism behind it, which had broken. And the reason why I was struggling to get it out from here first is because there's two little clips that you can see just below there, which I did know about but completely forgot, and you have to lift them in order to pry it out. It's quite stiff, but it is opening and closing that. But I think the reason why it was broken before perhaps is because it is quite stiff to operate. But anyway, it's there now and it's working and it doesn't look manky, so that is absolutely the main thing. So the only thing left now, I have to clean these two up, but then it's the seats, which is the most exciting bit. Passenger side seat first. The springs are filled with foam so that they don't vibrate. Brilliant. So this is the vacuum, which apparently operates the backrest clicker button, which is possibly why that wasn't working before. Not the backrest, the reclining function. Really weird mechanism. And I presume that's a seat belt. Passenger seat is in, so next, driver's seat. Finally all done, and I'm going to try and find something from the first video just to show you what this interior actually looked like before I got hold of it. I'm sure you'll agree it is looking pretty spiffing now. There's a few things that have to be done. I want to try and iron out some of these kinks, but I'm not too worried about it, frankly. And there is also this, which will just be some easy, it's not ripped, so with some leather colouring it will be fine. Actually, if any of you know what colour leather that is called for the Mercedes grey, but what is it for this vintage, please let me know so I can order a kit on eBay. But on the whole, man, honestly, this car is so transformed. So I need to do some paint correction because I haven't washed it or done anything with it since it was painted, and it does have some orange peel and stuff. I also want to change the rear lights because I've got some of the later ones, and that front grille probably needs to be changed. But then that is almost it, and what a transformation. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a bit longer today in terms of how much I've recorded in the various steps. Let me know if you enjoyed that, or if you want shorter videos, if that's all boring for you. You just want to see the end result, you know, before and after. But anyway, thank you all so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Please try and watch some of the other stuff as well. It always really helps, and I really look forward to seeing you for the next video.